L.A. Chargers, 7-9 last season, missed the playoffs behind rookie quarterback Justin Herbert's campaign. What are your expectations versus the reality?
This team is expecting Justin Herbert, no question, to lead them to a playoff run. We saw his rookie campaign, 4,300 yards, 31 touchdowns, 10 picks, 98.3 passer rating. And all your veterans and key players on both sides of the football are going to come back. New coach in there, so you don't have any more Anthony Lynn. And life overall seems a lot better. Asante Samuel Jr. as well might be the biggest steal of the NFL draft next to Justin Fields. And pairing him with Bosa, Joseph, Murray will bring really a circle of elite caliber players to this team that the Chargers need to be able to have a sustainable defense in a AFC West that has a lot of firepower. And then they want to continue to be that really tough team game in, game out. Yes, they might go down to the wire and lose against you, but they're giving you a run for your money the whole time. They're making you sweat it out. And I said it last year, the Chargers were the best team with the worst record. Now we look at the reality for this team coming up. Crazy enough, I do have this team going 11-6, 9-7, or excuse me, 9-8 at the least as a floor. You look at Justin Herbert, I think he does elevate this game if we're talking about a realistic part of this team, being able to be even more effective, better vision, better arm angles, and just better coaching. Yes, he is going to be with a new coach, but I feel like Justin Herbert already had it up here when he came into the league. He didn't need a whole lot of immense development. I mean, when you get a 5-minute notice that you're going to go play the Super Bowl champion, then Drew Brees, then Tom Brady, or excuse me, then Brady, then Drew Brees, and you're going to play all of them extremely well, that's got to give you confidence up front to know that you can lead this team to great heights. They got Rashawn Slater in there as well, so you know he's going to be able to protect him because they want Herbert to be comfortable early on. You don't want another Burrow or potentially a Kyler Murray or, a Russell Wilson. We don't want to see that from a young guy in Justin Herbert. And then I think the defense will be sneaky good enough to compete with some of these teams. That is what's going to keep them in some of these games with a Linval Joseph, a Joey Bosa, Kenneth Murray. Derwin James, is he still with them or did he leave? I don't know. I want to say James is still with him. I didn't hear anything about Derwin James getting out of there. So if you bring him back as well, he was gone to injury. So I do have this team going 11-6 in this division. At the worst, 9-8.
That's a hefty prediction. No, the expectations with Justin Herbert, they're expecting him to ascend to elite status, which a lot of people have placed him on already.
No.
They want Keenan Allen and Mike Williams to have monster seasons. They're expecting 10 to 11 wins, second place in the division with a wild card berth. The reality, with Eckler out with the Achilles, Hunter Henry to New England, Herbert's going to be asked to win a lot of games by himself.
Yep.
And that's too tall an ask. He doesn't have the weaponry around him. Teams can actually key on him. Him in his second year, he does not have the acumen to carry this team the way people are expecting him to.
Yeah.
Against the NFC East, Dallas, Washington, New York, Philly, 1-3. Think they'll beat the Eagles. They'll lose all the rest of those games. Against the AFC North, 1-3. Think they will beat Pittsburgh, and they will lose all the rest of those games. Pittsburgh has the worst secondary out of those, in addition to the least explosive offense. I think they can actually run the score up on Pittsburgh to beat them. The 3 games they get for finishing third in the division: Houston, New England, Minnesota. I think they lose to Houston. They lose to Minnesota. Actually, they'll go, my bad. They'll go 2-1 in those games. They'll beat Houston, and they'll beat Minnesota. That's where I've got it. They're going to lose to New England because they got trashed by them 45-0 last year. Thank you to those that were so adamant to correct me about the score. They will lose to New England again. They can beat Houston. We just talked about Houston a couple of weeks ago. Houston's a dumpster fire. They're not beating anybody. They got Minnesota in a primetime game. Minnesota never plays good when it's not at 1 o'clock. They'll get them. In the division, KC, Vegas, Denver, 2-4. They'll win 1 game against the Raiders, 1 game against the Broncos. So I've got them at a total record of 6-11. They'll actually regress. 1 less win, 2 more losses for the Chargers. 6-11. I'm not sold.